Alright, boys and girls, today's lesson is lesson 5-6. And it's called Word Problems with Extra, Hidden, or Not Enough Information. Meaning you'll get a word problem, and it either have too much stuff, it'll either have stuff hidden, or it'll have not enough information. So, let's go right to the first page. It's on page 277. Number 1 says, Emma solved 9 math problems and answered 7 reading questions. Her sister solved 8 math problems. How many math problems did they solve in all? Okay, so what did you notice about this word problem? Hopefully you noticed that some of the information that is given is not needed to solve the problem. So what information is given that is not needed? Well, if you look, the question they're asking is how many math problems did they solve? Well, Emma solved 9 math problems and her sister solved 8 math problems. So, the fact that she answered 7 reading questions is not necessary, is not needed. So that's the information that is not needed for the question. So, why don't we need this information? Well, the question asks about how many math problems. It doesn't ask anything about reading. So that's why I put a line through it. Because as you can tell at the top of the page, it says, read each problem, cross out the extra information, then solve. Okay? So, if they want to know how many math problems, this is easy now, because it would be 8 or 9 plus 8, which equals 17. So 17 problems. Okay, number 2. Mark has 6 shirts and 5 pairs of pants. Today his aunt gave him 4 more shirts and another pair of pants. How many shirts does he have now? The best thing to do in these is to find out what they're looking for. What is the question they're asking? The very last sentence says, how many shirts does he have now? Well, he started with 6 shirts and 5 pairs of pants, and his aunt gave him 4 more shirts and another pair of pants. Okay, how many shirts does he have now? Well, let's cross out the unnecessary information. Right? Really, we don't care how many pants he has, because that's not what we're asking. We don't care he started with 5 and got another pair, because we want to know how many shirts he has. So, if he started with 6 shirts, and his aunt gave him 4 more, I don't know why I did a fraction there, but that would equal 10 shirts. Like I said, we don't care about how many pants he has. I want you to try number 3 and 4 on your own, and then unpause it, and, actually, no, change your mind. Just do number 3 on your own. Then we're going to do it together. I'm going to try to get through the other pages, so then I can send you off to work on all these by yourself. So work on number 3 by your own, then unpause it. All right. So it says a parking lot had 179 cars and 95 trucks. Then 85 cars left the lot. How many cars are in the parking lot now? Okay, we're looking for how many cars. So the unnecessary information are the 95 trucks. Don't look at that. Don't be confused by that. So, if we started with 179 cars and 85 left, gives you 4, 94. So 94 cars. Alright, so once we're done with the lesson, I want you to go work on 4 and 5 on your own once we're done with the lesson. So let me push this page out of here. Next part is solving problems with hidden information. Okay, so we're going to read each problem and then circle the hidden information, then solve. Okay, so let's look at number 6. And what's difficult about this problem? Okay, hopefully the problem does not give all the information we need in order to solve it. Can we still solve it? Yes. How do we know? Even though the number is not given, we know that horses have how many feet? Horses have 4 feet. Okay, so let's read through it. Samuel has 16 horseshoes in the shed yesterday. Today he put a new set of horseshoes on his horse, Betsy. How many horseshoes are left in the shed? Okay, well, we know that he had 16. He put a new set of horseshoes on Betsy. And now how many does he have left? The only thing you see in here is 16. But it says a new set of horseshoes on his horse, Betsy. Okay, how many legs does a horse have? 4. So how many horseshoes is Betsy going to use? 4. So 16 minus 4 is 12. So the answer is 12 horseshoes. This really falls into us talking about inferencing. You have to infer. You know based on the fact that you know there's 4 legs on a horse. Number 7. Maya is going on vacation with her family for a week and 3 days. How many days will she spend on vacation? All right, let's circle the hidden information. A week. And think about it. How many days are in a week? Hopefully you know that it's 7. So they want a week and 3 days, so 7 plus 3 is 10. So how many days will she be on vacation? 10 days. Next one. I want you to work on your own. Pause it. Finish it. Unpause it, and I'll share it with you. All right. So it says Julie bought a dozen eggs at the market. She gave 3 of them to Serge. How many eggs does Julie have left? Well, we know she gave away 3 eggs, but the hidden information is a dozen. How many are in a dozen? Hopefully you know it's 12. She gave away 3. Leaves her with 9 eggs. Okay, like before, the last 2 I want you to work on when we're done with the lesson. I want to try to get through as many of these pages as I can. The next is to recognize word problems with not enough information. Okay? In this case, you won't be solving anything because it doesn't have enough information on any of these. So don't think like, oh, I'll be able to figure it out, because you won't. It's not possible. That's like me saying, all right, there were 14 kids in the class, and a whole bunch came in. How many do we have now? Well, we need to know how many came in. We don't know how many we have. I don't know. How much is a bunch? Is it 5? Is it 10? Is it 100? Okay, so number 11. Sarah bought 8 bananas at the fruit market. She put them in a bowl with some oranges. How many pieces of fruit are in the bowl? Okay, what is the information that we need? What is it that we need? We need to know how many oranges are in the bowl. Question mark. Once we know that, we can tell how many pieces of fruit are in the bowl. Second one. Rebecca did 112 dives in competition last summer. This summer she did many more dives in competition. How many competition dives did she do in the 2 summers? So we need to add 112 to how many she did this summer. We don't know how many she did this summer. So we need to know how many dives did Rebecca do this summer? How many dives did Rebecca do this summer? If we knew that, we could add the 2 together. All right, 13, 14 also on your own when we're done with the lesson. All right, next page. We're flying through these, but I really think you guys got this. Okay, this is going to continue. This is actually good. This continues on from our last page. It says, solve word problems with not enough information. If more information is needed, rewrite the problem to include the necessary information, then solve it. Well, let's see if we can solve these. It says 15. Leah began fishing at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. She stopped at dinner time. How many hours did Leah fish? So, a possible way you could rewrite it was Leah began fishing at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. She stopped at 6 for dinner time. How many hours did Leah fish? The answer is 4 hours. You see, you're going to add the information in, okay? Next one, so for 15 you would write down Leah, you could say Leah began fishing at 2 in the afternoon, then she stopped at 6 o'clock for dinner. Rather than say dinner time, you could say at 6 o'clock. How many hours was it? Well, that'd be 4 hours. Number 16. The train traveled 376 miles on Tuesday. It traveled even more miles on Wednesday. How many miles did the train travel on Tuesday and Wednesday? All right. So it doesn't give you the information, but this is where you're adding to it. So you could say the train traveled 376 miles on Tuesday. It traveled, instead of saying even more, you could say it traveled 415 miles on Wednesday. How many miles did it travel on Tuesday and Wednesday? So you would take 376 Add it to your 415. 11, 9, 7. So 791 miles. Up here, I guess I could put that instead of at dinner time, you could say at 6 o'clock. So if you started at 2, how many hours did she fish? 4 hours. The kitchen store sold 532 pans and 294 pots. Then some pans were returned. How many pans were not returned? Well, if you want to do this, you would say instead of then some pans, you could say then 110 pans were returned. 532 minus 110, 2, 2, 4. So then there's 422 pans were not returned. And I want you to work on 18 on your own. So we'll talk about this kind of stuff in small group.